Hey, welcome to Life After Nursing School. I'm your host, Caroline Dana, aka Nurse Coach Caroline, and I'm here to help you, the new nurse, thrive in your career. As a former nurse recruiter, nurse manager, and now your personal new nurse career coach, I'm obsessed with making sure you don't just survive your first couple of years at the bedside. I want you to absolutely rock them. From the challenges to the triumphs, I'll be right here with you, giving you the real-world advice and support that you need to shine. Whether you're in nursing school getting ready for life after, or you're already out there in nurse life feeling overwhelmed or even questioning your confidence, I've got your back. I'll be sharing tips, tricks, resources, and strategies that are just for you. We'll dive into everything from landing that dream nursing job to slaying imposter syndrome, and most importantly, how to keep that spark alive and stay the vibrant and amazing nurse that you are. So if you're ready to tackle the things nursing school did not cover, like how to build a career, trust yourself, and keep your passion strong, then get comfortable because we are about to dive in and make nurse life the best life. Okay, I want to start this episode by just saying nursing school is so hard. It's full of long hours, a lot of material, big words, and complicated concepts. I don't believe that you need to be super smart to be a nurse, but I do believe you wholeheartedly need to be able to work hard and believe in yourself. If you don't actually put the work in or you don't have the right mindset, you will not get through nursing school. We truly underestimate the power of mindset, and this is something I really want to focus on in today's episode. I want to start by sharing with you a personal story of mine about mindset. Anyone who knows me knows that I love running. I love running outside on the road or on the trails. I also love running on a treadmill. My senior year in high school, I decided to leave soccer to instead join the cross country team. I want to share a bit about my coach in this story. His name is Coach K, okay? And he changed my entire life. And this was my coach for my cross country team. He has won an incredibly large number of championships over the years, both in high school and at the collegiate level. He opened my eyes to the power of mindset and the impact of just believing in myself. He had a way of putting things into perspective that made winning actually seem almost easy. He would put in the work and you will get the results. But what I learned along the way was that the work that he was referring to wasn't just about running and exercise. It was also mindset. Right before we all left school for the summer, I decided for sure in the fall, I was not going to be a senior on the soccer team. I was instead going to try cross country for the very first time. Now, again, we're junior year in high school. It's June, and right before we are out for the summer, the cross country team has an annual meeting, and it's all about the upcoming fall season. And now, again, if you don't know much about cross country, it is a fall sport. So training happens mostly in the summer. So, Coach K held this end of the year cross country meeting every single year. And I had no idea what to expect, but I knew it was going to be good because the other runners were really excited for this meeting. So, after the last period of school was over for that day and the final bell rang, we all piled into a designated classroom for this said meeting. I remember it was a really tight squeeze because this was both the men's and women's cross country team. There were kids leaning against the wall, sitting on the ground, squeezed in wherever they could just to sit down and be able to hear what Coach K had to say. Okay, I want you to picture this coach. He's in his late 30s, probably 5'10" in height, in shape, high energy individual. And the reason I'm kind of giving you this picture is that his stature was not large, yet his personality was larger than life. His energy was like tangible. He walked into a room and everything changed. Every time he walked into a room. I cannot explain it. You almost need to be there to really understand it. So for this meeting, when Coach K walked in, you could just feel his excitement and his energy. He has, again, this incredible special energy about him, and he is naturally a very high energy person, but also has this ability to get you to match his energy as well. He can make you excited even when there's nothing to be excited about. So he walks in, everyone slowly stops chatting with the person next to them, and soon Coach K has a very captivated audience of young adults, which is not easy to do if you think about high schoolers. He begins to hand each of us a thick packet of paper, and this was going to be our summer training program in this packet. Okay, each of us had a specific packet, it had our name written on top in his handwriting with pencil. And in this training packet, he provided a few different training plans based on skill. From what I remember, there was like a level 1, 2, and 3. And level 1 is the easiest program, 2 was moderate, 3 was the hardest program. He had marked in the packet which training program he felt was best for you, but ultimately it was your decision. Okay, so picture this. We're all given our training packets. We're flipping through them in a group setting. You see the one that he recommends for you, but you know which training plan would be very comfortable. You also knew which training plan you could handle, but you kept eyeing the one that was scary, the training plan that you wanted to do, the one that required guts. Coach K didn't go over the specific details of the plan until the end of this meeting. So instead, he spent the majority of the meeting sharing the big plans and dreams of the season that lied ahead. And this season didn't even start for a few months. He shared his vision of winning championships and even predicted individual and team race performances. Once he shared the dream with us, we were hooked. We were 100% sold on our coach's vision for the upcoming season. And only once this was achieved was it time to talk about the work that we had to put in order to achieve this vision or goal. Although the season didn't start until September, we all knew that the majority of the work needed to be done over the summer. This was a bit scary because we were sort of left to our own devices over the summer. No formal practices or regular guidance by our coach or team members. We simply only had our training packets. Once it was time to talk about how we were going to train over the summer, I remember him specifically breaking down the number of hours in a week. He said, you need to carve out about 5 hours per week to dedicate to training. He went on to explain that we had 168 hours in a week to do whatever we wanted, and we only needed to dedicate around 5 hours for training. And that is only 3% of our time. He even took it a step further and he said, okay, let's remove sleep hours since those are already spoken for. If we sleep for 8 hours a night, every night of the week, that would subtract 56 hours and we would be left with 112 hours to do whatever we wanted. In this case, dedicating 5 hours of time to training was still only a little over 4% of our free time per week in the summer. When he broke it down like this, it just seemed too simple. He handed me a vision of the dream I wanted so badly as a student athlete. He handed me a training plan with the exact paces and mileage that I needed to follow to achieve that dream. And then he showed me that making time for the work was doable. I just needed to make it happen, and I only had to dedicate 5 hours out of 168 hours a week to this dream. This was such an impactful meeting for me, and I think we can use a roadmap like this in our life for all of our dreams, not just a cross country championship. So let's bring it back to nursing. If becoming a nurse is your dream, start by truly envisioning yourself living it. A famous quote by Buddha is, "The mind is everything. What you think, you become." So let's visualize it. Picture yourself pulling on your scrubs, clipping your badge to your scrub top, and stepping confidently into the hospital. Imagine walking the halls, the steady rhythm of monitors beeping softly in the background, the scent of freshly cleaned floors in the air. See yourself checking in on your patients, greeting them by name, assessing their needs, offering reassurance with just a smile or a few kind words. Visualize standing during multidisciplinary rounds, confidently giving a detailed patient summary to doctors and other members of the healthcare team. Picture yourself drawing up medications carefully, double checking your work, feeling the weight of responsibility and pride that comes with keeping your patients safe. Imagine clocking in at the start of your shift, full of purpose, and clocking out tired but fulfilled, knowing you made a difference. And finally, see your hard work paying off. Envision your first paycheck hitting your bank account, a tangible reminder of all the studying, sacrifice, and dedication that brought you here. Your dream starts by seeing yourself already living it, then taking the next step to make it real. It may seem cheesy to visualize yourself doing these things, but research has proven visualization to be a very powerful tool. Visualization can boost athletic performance by up to 23%, and those that visualize their goals are 42% more likely to achieve them. 42%, that is such a high number. And visualization alone can even increase motivation by 20 to 30%, according to a study performed by the Journal of Consulting and Clinical Psychology. So, why not intentionally daydream a little about what you really want in life? Once we buy into this vision for ourselves, let's take it a step further and think about it in a tangible way so we can buy into the belief that this dream is absolutely possible and doable and achievable. Let's break down nursing school for a moment, okay? How many hours are you actually spending in lecture? How many hours are you spending at clinical? And how much time do you have left to study? Let's say you're in class for 15 hours a week and you spend another 8 hours in clinical. That's 23 hours a week dedicated to nursing school. Now remember, there are 168 hours in a week. That means nursing school accounts for just 13% of your total time each week. Of course, we have other responsibilities, work, family, personal care, or personal life. That might make up another 10 to 20% of our time. But even after that, more than 50% of your week is still unaccounted for. Time you can manage, invest, and organize toward your goals. Now let's zoom out even further. If you're enrolled in a 2-year nursing program and we compare the commitment to your entire life, it's a very small fraction. The average life expectancy for women, and I'm speaking specifically to women here since the majority of the nursing workforce is female, is about 80 years old. That means 2 years of nursing school is just 2.5 years of your life. 2.5 years of pure focus, hard work, and grit. And then you're done. You've crossed the finish line. There is an end in sight, and every bit of effort is building a future where you'll live out the career that you've worked so hard for. And your training plan or the training packet, like Coach K had handed to me in that meeting, is actually your nursing school curriculum. Simply put, if you stay the course and follow the outlined nursing program curriculum, you will get to the finish line and you will be a nurse. Okay, now I want to share another cross country story with you from that same season of my life because it really highlights the power and impact of mindset. Okay, so let's go back to the end of junior year in high school, and I've just received my training plan, and I'm all jazzed up to go for a run, and I'm so dang excited to chase this dream. And I hit the summer pretty hard. I'm learning how to run long distance. I'm navigating the mind games that start to creep in, and if you've ever pushed yourself physically in any capacity, you have likely had a taste of the thoughts that enter your head when you are physically uncomfortable. There's a lot of negative self talk and doubt. Things like, my legs hurt. I can't breathe. I will never finish this race. And wow, was I ever shocked by these thoughts that entered my mind my first few races. Over the summer, I ran a 5K road race almost every other week to get into racing mentality. I had no idea how to race and no idea that there is a fine line between listening to your body, but also pushing it to perform at full potential. The first half of the summer training was rough. Okay. I barely finished the races that I entered. And at this time, I was a pretty fit and athletic person. So there was no reason for me, from a physically fit standpoint, to not be able to finish a 3.1 mile race. I remember each race would start off well, and then about halfway into it, the struggle would start. I would feel the effects of really working my body, and I would start to have negative thought patterns pop up into my head. These thoughts would take root in my head and they would just grow. I would get to a point in the race where I would start to panic and feel like I couldn't breathe. I thought all along that I had asthma. I would feel my chest tighten as these negative thoughts persisted, and it felt like my airway was closing. Then I would drop out of the race because I couldn't breathe and I would use my rescue inhaler, which did seem to help, but the damage was done. I had already dropped out of the race. And once you drop out, you can't jump back in. But what I truly didn't take the time to understand was what came first, the negative thoughts or my asthma related symptoms. After many races like this, I was so frustrated. I felt like such a failure. How was I supposed to help the team win a championship if I couldn't even finish a race? I had to get this situated before the actual season started, and I knew I needed to change my during the race thought patterns. This may seem a bit crazy, but I actually ended up seeing a hypnotist, and he changed my life. I believe this was my dad's idea from what I can remember. And my father was always my biggest cheerleader and supporter. So, of course, he did some research and found this local hypnotist and talked me into going. I remember going to the appointment, of course, with my dad. I made him go with me. And after explaining to the hypnotist what I was going through each race, I laid back in a recliner as the professional hypnotized me to remain calm during my runs. Now, hypnosis is very cool. I was skeptic, but it seems to be more of a visualization activity for the subconscious. You aren't truly asleep, but after the hypnosis session, I could not really tell how long the session had gone for or what happened during the session. It could have been a 10-minute session. It could have been a 2-hour session. It kind of felt like I woke up from a nap. I do remember a portion of the hypnosis. So the hypnotist would first take some time to coach me on my breathing and help me get into a deep state of relaxation. Then he would say things like, I am breathing with ease. My arms and legs feel strong. I am strong. Okay. He would speak so calmly in such a soothing voice and basically tell you how you feel in that moment. So for me, he was reassuring me that I felt calm. I felt confident. I felt strong during my races. The crazy part, I mean, this is absolutely crazy. After that first session with the hypnotist, I never used my rescue inhaler mid race ever again. And I never dropped out of a race again. Now, that didn't mean that I was just an amazing runner from there, right? Just because I had started working on my mindset, had gone to this hypnotist, did not mean all of a sudden I came out like Usain Bolt. Now, I still had to train and put in the work. It was hard work, and my mind wasn't always the strongest. I had many weak moments and weak thoughts, but overall, I was able to shift my thoughts and redirect my thought pattern in the moment without derailing my entire performance while racing. So I actually went on to have a great first season in cross country. We were state champions like Coach K had envisioned ourselves to be, but the story doesn't end there. Fast forward, I went on to fall deeply in love with cross country and running. I continued on to run cross country in college, and my senior year in college, which is, let me just preface the time frame here, was 4 years later after my senior year running cross country in high school. And when I was in college going into my fourth year, which, my senior year, believe it or not, the head coach of our cross country team at the time had to step down and the position was open. And Coach K actually ended up accepting the position to coach at my college. So this was an incredible moment because, again, he is the most incredible coach I have ever come across and probably will ever in my whole life. So I was beyond ecstatic. This was a dream come true for me because I just knew how incredibly talented, motivating, and brilliant this man is. Not only did we go on to win the first ever cross country championship for my college, but I personally came in first place in the championship race. I was the champion of the entire league. I will say I did train my butt off and I followed a difficult training plan. I ate pretty healthy and I incorporated some weight training, but I also did the mental work. I listened to guided imagery exercises and that same hypnosis session that was recorded in high school. And I won a few different races my senior year, not just the championship. And it was a freaking dream. Okay. I actually cried multiple times drafting this episode because of how grateful I am for having lived that experience. It was the most magical experience of my life. Excuse me. But I know if I didn't do the mental work, it would not have mattered how much I had trained physically. If your mind isn't working with you, it's working against you and will prevent you from your dreams or reaching your full potential. When it comes to building a strong mindset in nursing school or as a new grad nurse, one of the most overlooked tools is the language we use and how we speak to ourselves. Studies have shown that positive self talk can improve performance by up to 11%. Students who practice positive self talk reduced their stress level by 50% during exams. Self talk improved problem solving skills by up to 30% in challenging tasks, and people who actively replace negative thoughts with positive self talk are less likely to experience burnout and show higher resilience. Our brains respond to repeated phrases, and over time, those words shape our thought patterns. If you're constantly telling yourself, I'm always behind or I'm not good at this, your brain starts scanning for proof and ignores your progress. The words we say become part of our identity. Saying, I'm just a bad test taker reinforces self doubt, while saying, I'm learning to manage test anxiety opens the door to growth. It's not just about being positive, it's about being intentional. Our words trigger emotion, and emotion drives our behavior. Encouraging language fuels action. Self critical language leads to skepticism and burnout. And here's the science: the brain doesn't care if something is true or not, it just believes what it hears repeatedly. That's why affirmations and consistent self talk actually work to rewire your mindset. Even a small shift in how you phrase things, like saying, I get to study instead of I have to study, can change your entire outlook. Now let's pivot to the practice of affirmations. Similar to self talk, but more of an intentional practice, affirmations are short, positive statements that you repeat to yourself, usually out loud, to challenge negative thoughts and build confidence. They're about speaking what you want to believe or what you want to achieve, even before you fully feel it. The idea is that consistently saying things like, I am capable or I can handle whatever comes my way, you start to rewire your brain to believe those truths. You can practice affirmations anytime, in the morning to set the tone for the day, before a big event to boost your confidence, or even at night to calm your mind. The key is consistency, emotion, and speaking like it's already true. I know there have been many races in cross country where my body starts to feel very fatigued, but I start saying in my head, my arms are strong, my legs are strong, I am strong. And that affirmation was on a repeat loop in my head. And you know what? I soon felt pretty strong. Studies show that daily affirmations can boost your self esteem by up to 10% in just a few weeks. Even more impressive, practicing affirmations before a stressful event can cut your stress levels nearly in half by up to 47%. Research has even found that affirmations lower cortisol, which is our main stress hormone, by about 35%. And if you're working on building better habits like exercising or eating healthier, positive self talk can actually make you 18% more likely to stay on track. Brain scans even show that affirmations light up the brain's reward centers, helping you stay motivated and resilient through the ups and downs. That's pretty powerful. So, here are a few examples of affirmations that you can apply to nursing school or your life after nursing school. I am becoming a skilled and compassionate nurse every day. I am capable of handling the challenges nursing school brings. My hard work and dedication are leading me to success. I am learning, growing, and getting stronger with every experience. I trust myself and my journey to becoming a nurse. I bring care, knowledge, and heart to everything I do. I am resilient, resourceful, and ready for anything that comes my way. Okay, so remember this: your words aren't just descriptions of how you feel, they're actually instructions to your mind. So speak with purpose and speak like the nurse that you're becoming. All right, friends, let's wrap it up. Today, we explored just how powerful your mindset can be, not just in athletics, but especially in your journey through nursing school. We talk about how believing in yourself, visualizing your success, and practicing intentional self-talk can literally change your outcome. I shared some personal stories about how shifting my mindset transformed my running career, and we connected those lessons back to nursing school. Your training plan is your curriculum, your races are your exams and clinical, and your finish line is that nursing license. We also covered the science behind positive self talk and affirmations and how small shifts in your language can make a big impact on your stress, motivation, and resilience. Remember, this isn't about being perfect. It's about showing up, doing the work, and believing that you are capable one day, one step, and one thought at a time. If this episode resonated with you, it would mean the world to me if you could leave a review or share this podcast with a friend who might need a little encouragement today. Your support helps me reach more future nurses who are chasing their dreams just like you. Until next time, keep believing in yourself. You're closer to the finish line than you think. And as always, I have one hand for me, the other for you. Signing off. Well, that's it for today's episode of Life After Nursing School. I hope you feel more confident and ready to tackle the challenges that come with starting your nursing career. Remember, the first year or two might not be easy, but with the right mindset, you can overcome anything. If you found value in today's episode, I'd love for you to hit that subscribe button so you never miss a future episode. Also, please consider leaving a review on your favorite podcast platform. It helps so much in reaching other new nurses like you. Thanks for listening, and remember, you've got this. Take care and see you next time.